Welcome to RED35. My name is Cheng. I'm a professional photographer, filmmaker, and an Olympus ambassador. Today, I want to show you a new lens from Pergear, the new 7.5mm f2.8 fisheye. Yeah, this tiny little lens here. Let's hit it. Do you remember Pergear? I reviewed their cheapo 25mm 1.8 menu lens with Starry earlier this year. I was pretty blown away by it, especially when you factor in the cost. If you missed that video, the link is up here and down in the description. So how about this brand new 7.5mm 2.8 fisheye? Well, before I do a deep dive, let's get the price out of the way. Yes, it's a Pergear, so it means affordable. Even in their online store, the recommended retail price is only $129 and £119 on Amazon UK, and lower if you shop around on eBay. It is significantly cheaper than any fisheye lenses I've used before, and it's only around about $20 more than the premium fisheye lens for smartphone, for instance. So once again, Pergear has shocked me with its pricing, and still puzzles me how on earth can they make a working lens this cheap and still be able to make money. Or maybe simply others just overcharging us. But anyway, I would never say no to cheap things if they work as advertised, of course. First, let's have a look at the build quality. Just like any Pergear lenses I've tested so far, none of them is made cheaply, despite of the selling price. The new 7.5mm is made entirely with metal and glass and weighed at a healthy 300 grams, so it's as good as any medium-priced lenses, if not better. But if I have to nitpick things to criticize for its build quality, perhaps the focusing ring, although it has a smooth turning action, but it just doesn't quite feel solid. It kind of feels more like a reconditioned high-mileage gearbox. And the aperture ring is very smooth, it's clickless, so it's good for video, but never good for photos, especially for those who want to develop some shooting memory for a lens. And finally, the text on the lens is more like printed on rather than engraved onto it. But for £120, a new lens, a working lens, I'm just being picky. The Pergear 7.5mm fisheye represents what a micro four thirds lens should be in terms of size, with a diameter of 61mm and 54mm in length, including the built-in metal pedal hood. It's a good size. At 300 grams, this thing has a good weight and feels good too, and pretty balanced on the likes of Pen F and also the EM5 Mark III, or basically any similar sized bodies. Definitely a good street setup for some crazy street photography. Unlike other Pergear lenses, however, this fisheye has a more pronounced focusing grip. Not only makes it much easier to focus, but also differentiates it from the aperture ring itself. Yeah, to avoid confusion. And the built-in metal pedal hood, well, maybe it's good to eliminate some flares and to protect the front elements from direct impact. It is, however, not very good at protected fingerprint smudging because of the bulging element, just like the Olympus 8mm fisheye as well. And in terms of using filter, well, I would basically say it's impossible unless you have a dedicated mounting system, which I haven't found one yet. But if you do, please let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, crunch time. I loved their 25mm 1.8 lens before, and how about this fisheye? Well, first, with 9 elements in 8 groups, this little guy here is more complex than the 25mm, but less so when you compare with other more expensive options on the market. Second, despite its name, this fisheye isn't a full circular fisheye, very much like the Olympus' own 8mm 1.8 Pro. And currently, there are only 2 full circular fisheye lenses on the Micro Four Thirds platform, and that's the Laowa 4mm f2.8 that I reviewed before, and the Makey 6.5mm f2. Both are super stellar performer and super sharp, but sadly, this isn't the case with the Pergear's fisheye.
Right, I've found my testing ground now. It's my local park with the lake, and you might have recognized this place because I've tested a few things around here. For the Pergear 7.5mm fisheye, I would prefer to go into the city and like photograph tall buildings and high rises and things like that. But yeah, London's is not very good at the moment, so I do not want to travel in using public transport nor driving into it. Just yeah, I can't find car park there. So I'm here. I'm restricted to my local area, which is good anyway. It's quite nice and pleasant, and you've seen all the animals that I've shot here before. It's a beautiful place. So even though this may not be the ideal place to test a fisheye lens, but at least I will show you the quality of the lens. So of course, for image quality tests, I need to bring my tripod. So there's no variation there. I'm gonna just put my camera onto the tripod there to take a few shots in different aperture settings so you can see the exact quality at each. So it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be simple and fun. Yeah, short fun. Short fun. That's the word, isn't it? Short fun. And do you remember this? The new Blue Billingham. Lovely. Okay, let's set it all up. So my testing gear today is the Olympus OMD EM5 Mark III right here, and the support is my kind of my favorite tripod lately is the three-legged thing, RED, the carbon tripod. Excellent stuff. And the I have fitted it with the L bracket, also from three-legged thing, the small LE, perfect for the EM5 Mark III body. So it's actually quite good. So here we go. This is the lens. Hopefully you can see the lens. There we go. Yeah, that's the lens. Right. Okay. Let's do some test shots. Just finished testing the lens. As you can see from the images, at 2.8 wide open aperture, things are very dull and boring and flat. Center sharpness is pretty respectable, but you know, not the greatest I've seen. The edges are definitely horrible. Got a lot of coma, smudging going on, so just not very, very nice. The sweet spot would be between 5.6 and f8. That's when you get the best out of this lens here. At 11 and 22, well, you know, it's got a lot of diffractions, but unless you are really pixel peep, it's still actually okay because of the perceived sharpness from a fisheye lens. So you can still use them for social media posts, you know, as long as you don't blow up the images too big or do a lot of cropping, so you'll be fine.
Bokeh has a vintage feel to it, but you will have to pixel peep to see them, since most things are in focus on fisheye lenses unless you are focusing something very, very close to it. With that said, the closest focusing distance is 12 centimeters and has 10 aperture blades. Pretty impressive. The new Pergear 7.5mm f2.8 fisheye lens is suitable for beginner-level manual photographers or those who casually enjoy a click or two for their unusual fisheye look. For someone who wants to do some serious non-circular fisheye work, you may want to try something else. One particular area where non-circular fisheye lens is popular these days is astrophotography, but since its wide open aperture is a little under par, I wouldn't think this 7.5 fisheye is a great option for this type of photography. But for landscape, is a different story, since most photographers would stop down the lens anyway, and this is the setting where the Pergear lens is at its most happiest. Despite what I just said, however, for casual fisheye photographer, the Pergear 7.5 2.8 still represents a value option, since its closest competitors are the SLR Magic 8mm f4 and the Samyang 7.5 f3.5, but both would cost more and slower by a stop or more in terms of light than the Pergear. If you want the best non-circular fisheye lens, you still can't beat the all-singing, all-dancing Olympus 8mm 1.8 Pro. So it's a little mixed bag in terms of recommendation. Get it if you like to experience fisheye photography on the cheap, but if you want to get into fisheye photography as part of your specialty and want the best image quality, you are better off saving up to get the little Olympus version instead. Thanks again for watching, and give this video a thumb if you liked it, and sub if you want to support my channel. See you next time. Ciao ciao!
Here we go. So I think I am going to test it to see whether it's going to be okay. Bam, 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 bam.